Good afternoon. Hope everyone else is having a wonderful day. Much like yesterday, I've had a fairly good day. Figured I would continue my rant about motorcycling. Rant or rambling, one or the other. And all the bad habits motorcyclists have these days. So, I do need to stop for fuel on the way back. Now it says I have half a tank there, but I don't get paid till next week, and I'm gonna need some fuel for that. Right, so this morning I talked about lane filtering, lane splitting, whichever title you prefer, and how I don't do it. I know there's a lot of people going, it's better for the environment, it's better for safety. Well, you can be right, but you can also be wrong. Is it better for the environment? Maybe. It's not really increasing or decreasing the amount of time you are in traffic if you lane filter all the way to the front of a red light. Well, then you're at the front of a line at a red light, and you're still in the same position as everyone else. If you lane filter because there's going to be 3 red light changes, you might save some time, but then again, all you're doing is damning everyone else around you. Is it better for your health? Yeah, possibly. With the whole world moving on to electric and other sustainable fuels, I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem for much longer. With the amount of growing Teslas that are already here, I can attest to that. It's a beautiful truck. So yes, lane filtering, lane splitting, not my idea of a good time. Especially up here in the territory, because well, there's not really a need for it. You're not going to save any time. If you get a red light at the first stage, chances are you're going to get a red light at the next stage, unless you do 20 k's over the speed limit, which is not advisable in any department. Speaking of greens, come on, there we go. Alright, now, this may seem like a bit of a roundabout way, but in my mind, it's the quickest way to get to what I believe is currently the cheapest fuel in Darwin. Ah, shit, that's right, it's the 60 zone here. It's actually not a decent road. Aside from all the bumps, which I'm sure the camera is trying to correct for right now. Actually, at some point when I come back, you'll notice that there'll be chickens running around here. Not bin chickens, actual chickens. So there's someone here who actually owns chickens. I do not know which house, because there are different lawns. It may not even be owned by anyone. It could just be actual free-range chickens. What else? Rev matching. That's another thing I don't really follow. I just I change gear how I change gear. I barely think about it. Sometimes I'll use the clutch. Other times I'll use the quick shifter. Sometimes it's nice to be polite and let nervous people do their thing. Alright. This is easily one of the most Americanized fuel stations that we have. And let's go to my favorite Bowser. Alright guys, back with you in a tick. Alrighty guys, we're back. I'm all fueled up, which will hopefully get me through the next couple of weeks. Alright. Yeah, fuck, I guess I'll go back the way I came. Maybe this guy's got the right idea. We shall see. So yes, good road habits. Never trusting a giveaway sign. And never trusting that a car is going to do the right thing. For example. Yeah. So yeah. I know this morning in my tired state I was talking about my head being on a swivel. And I hope it comes across that it is on the camera as well. Because there's... At the end of the day, your goal should be to get to where you're going safely and get back home safely. A bonus is if you don't cause any grief for anyone else. I know that's a big ask for a lot of people. Sometimes you can't help it. Stuff happens. Like for example, that car just there opened the doors and the car going around them had to go really wide. I don't know who's at fault there. I don't know if that car going around was coming in too hot. I don't know if the person in the car wasn't paying attention to vehicles coming the opposite direction. Yep, looks like I'm going to be stuck in the thick of it today. Oh, there we are. Yep. I reckon I've got this. Oh yeah, absolutely. Not a chance in hell I'd miss that. Now, there's also another thing that my old man told me when I first got into motorcycling, which is don't ride at 100%. Don't ride at your skill level or above your skill level. You should only, on a day-to-day basis, be riding at 60% of your skill level. That way, if something happens, you've got that extra 40% that you can draw upon to hopefully get you out of that situation or minimize the impact. I learned that lesson the hard way when I had a big crash in 2016 when 3 kangaroos hopped out in front of me. So what was happening was we were heading north after doing the wall-to-wall ceremony in Canberra for the fallen police officers, and the plan was to swing by Bathurst, do a lap of the panorama, and you know, just have that little nice moment of that happening, and then move on to Sydney for an evening. And the route that day, like, it was a good day. We had clear skies, it was dry, there wasn't really a lot that could have messed us up. There were a few supercars doing stupid shenanigans out rural, probably a bunch of doctors, and there was some mud across the roads. I wasn't a big fan of twisties at that point because I'd only been riding for what was it, a year and a half at this point? No, I'm going to lock it in. It was a year and a half at that point, which yeah, not exactly great to go on a huge long trip of about 15,000 Ks rounded up on a bike with no ABS, no cruise control, no wind protection, and no crash protection. Oh, and no heated grips. It was the proper high five slap to the face that I probably needed to get my act together in the long run. So yeah, so it was getting to about, I want to say 5:30. So around that point, at that time of the year, I think it was thereabouts then. I don't remember the exact time, but things started getting a little bit dim, and all the wildlife was starting to come out, which my old man knew was going to happen. He's done this sort of ride many times before, and he's very well aware that when the sun rises and when the sun starts to set, those are the two most dangerous times, because it's not dark enough that your eyes have adjusted to it, and your headlights will start catching things, especially if they're LEDs. But it's not bright enough that you can spot anything either. So it's just that twilight hour where things just don't quite work the way that they should. I think that was a nod. I'm sure I'll have to check on the camera later. So yes, we were doing this. It was a very long day. I'm rambling over a goddamn story like I always do. And so we were just going, and we weren't even doing anything too dangerous. I think the speed limit was 100. We slowed down to 80. And I was on a Yamaha 650 Classic Cruiser, which, again, I know I keep doing this. For all you non-bike aficionados out there, that particular model of motorcycle has a drum brake in the rear, and a single disc in the front, no ABS. I think I know that Hyundai. So not ideal for quick braking, as I learned. So we're just cruising. Figured we might have to stop at some point, and I was already punching at way above my weight class, because we've done 500 Ks that day. I was already tired because I was just exhausted from all the input that my eyes, my ears, and my brain was receiving. And then, sure enough, 3 kangaroos jumped out in front of me. I panicked, which is one thing you should avoid doing as a motorcyclist with no ABS. And I locked up the front and locked up the rear. Bike slid side to side, and then it rolled. It laid down, and I was caught under it. The engine block crushed my lower right leg, and it kind of dragged me for a bit. I was wearing all the gear, thank God. I don't think I would have been having too much more fun if I wasn't wearing thick winter gloves and like extra padded armored jacket and 2 pairs of jeans, because it was cold out. I think it was like it was 12 degrees, and it was pretty cold even for me. It was cold, and it was slightly damp in the morning. I know I said there was not much rain, and there wasn't. It was just, just damp. So I panicked, got a fistful of brake, effed it up completely, and next thing I know, I'm sliding down the ground, and the old man, my dad, was in front of me, and we were connected via headsets. So I think he heard me say "oh fuck," followed by the bike crashing, scraping, and me coming to a halt, screaming in pain because everything hurts, and then me trying to get up and feeling all the broken bones inside my leg. Not great. Definitely don't recommend ever feeling that. And well, on the bright side, I got a helicopter ride out of it. I don't remember it, but I got a helicopter ride. And then I spent a couple of weeks in Westmead Hospital, which, if I recall, got demolished a couple of years ago. I think they put a new one in. I didn't follow up, to be honest. I don't even want to go back. You go back to the same hospital, it's a bit of bad juju, bad memories come up. Yes, the slow point. Still not a fan of it. Still not a fan of being forced to slow down. But I am keeping a safe distance, because at any given time, anyone in that left lane is going to want to come into the right lane. And it's always better to have too much of a gap than not enough of a gap. Also, it's a bigger gap than normal because I'm distracted talking to myself into a microphone that will be uploaded to YouTube at some point this evening. So here's something you don't hear very often: motovlogging. It's dangerous because you're intentionally distracting yourself. But hey, who said men can't multitask? I'm doing it right now. I'm riding a motorcycle, being aware of my surroundings, and talking in a microphone while recalling a story that I think I've told 1,000 times by now. Watch out, that Ford behind me. Nah. Time for slowness is over. I can't wait for these roadworks to be finished. They started them in February, I think it was, and it's just been one thing after another, slowing it down. But yes, hopefully that story, for anyone who listens to it, will, you know, just let everyone know that, hey, people make mistakes. Some people don't wave at other motorcycles, even though it's the polite thing to do. I've definitely learned my lesson. I haven't crashed since, and it's been 8 years, so, you know, some lessons I've learned the hard way. I do have other funny stories about other guys I know who have had, well, I say guys, men I should say, hello police officers, who have had mishaps on the road. Some of them they remember lucidly, others don't remember a thing. They only remember the aftermath. But they're all still kicking, they're all still walking about and living their best lives, and it's always worth a good joke around. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to go straight. Let's take a bit more of a scenic route. Another bad habit of motorcyclists is brake preference. So, I know for a fact that I definitely favor the front brake over the rear. Not without cause. When you're braking, all the weight's on the front, you're going to want more braking on that, and that's why it has 2 discs. Unfortunately, it really pays to have that habit of applying the rear brake first, or applying them both at the same time, preferably with the rear brake a split second beforehand. I guarantee you, as soon as I flick this in neutral, that light's going to go green. So I'm going to, see, I was thinking about it. Everyone's got to go somewhere, no point rushing. I have a vague idea of which route I'm taking to get back to mine. Yes, survive the ride. I think that is the essence of what I'm trying to put out there. Have good habits, think defensively, survive the ride, come home, and if you make a mistake, learn from it. I learned from my mistake. I haven't crashed since, and I'm much more comfortable wearing less gear because I have that experience. I know I keep quoting other people I've met, but it's true. That's how you learn. You listen to people who give you advice. Some people don't listen, but I like to think I am one of those people that listen. There was another older rider. I think he's still around. I haven't seen him in about 6 years, I think. And he said, listen, B, there's only 2 types of people, sorry, 2 types of riders in this world. Those who have crashed and those who will crash. And this is after he'd met me, so he just gave me a pat on the back, and he's just saying, you know, you've already had your crash, that's it. Learn from what you did wrong and start getting better habits. So that's why I always try and consciously remember, rear brake first. If I'm starting to slow down for a traffic light that I know is going to go amber or red, rear brake first, gently, and then gently squeeze the front brake. Lovely. That being said, it's peak hour. I'm not changing lanes because I need to stay in this one, and because there's another merging lane just past this bridge, and they'll all want that lane, so I best just make sure it's nice and open and prevent any issues. Yes indeed. This morning I talked about ATCAT, I've talked about braking, I've talked about having a swivel on your head, riding defensively, I shared a story.